Hello there, ladies and gentlemen. This is White Lightning. Welcome back to episode 8 of my Principles of Empire at War campaign, playing Star Wars Empire at War Thrawn's Revenge as the New Republic. Last time we took a couple planets, or rather had a couple of good battles, took the space over Naboo, took the space back over Bajik, and are still chasing down this remaining 44 population Imperial fleet that is kind of running amok through our territory. But the biggest thing, the coolest thing that we did is this heroic defense of the planet of Shardon, with Akbar's fleet, led by Akbar and Farlander, 250 pop, fought off a fleet led by two Imperial admirals of 440 pop, so not quite double, but not far shy from double the size. And with the defensive stations, plus the defensive bonuses that we had on the two admirals here in our fleet, we were able to win that, which was awesome. So really enjoyed fighting that, was really surprised that we won that, and we'll be looking to press that advantage. We should have a bit of a relief from Imperial pressure. I'm guessing that was a big part of their active fleets here, but it's already an indication of how cruel AI setting makes the AI more aggressive, because we got a couple of attacks, one at Tyna, which we fought off on the ground as well, which was super nice. So did a little bit of building up, queuing up some infrastructure in between episodes. We're now at the beginning of the month, and I've already spent all of the monthly income, so we definitely need to pump that up. But first thing I want to do is take Yag'Dhul, which we should be able to do with these ground forces that are coming in. So we'll let them get the rest of the way to the planet, and then Han and Chewie in command of this ground army should be enough. It's a very minimally manned planet. I would almost be tempted to auto-resolve the battle, but auto-resolve tends to hose the player when you do it, so I don't want to take any losses that I don't have to right now. We are in kind of a precarious position. I did see that the Chiss Ascendancy... Okay, so we got Han and Chewie here. Both of them can repair vehicles, which is a super nice ability to have. Helps improve the longevity of your ground forces. And then Chewie as well has they both have sprint ability, and Chewie has this ability to capture vehicles. So any random Imperial vehicle that comes at us in this battle we'll be able to snag. So I think I'll just send... actually, let's take Han, and we'll have him sprint over to this other command post. Like I say, I'm really not worried about this, just need to go through the formalities of taking the planet, so let's fast forward, get Chewie to take this reinforcement point, and then I'll probably bring in my artillery here, so it can potentially get some shots in on the base, which you can see here on the minimap indicated by those two green squares. And honestly, this is probably as close as we're going to get, so I'm going to drop our heavy vehicles that are going to be a little slower as well. And let's bring in some infantry in this region as well, and then we'll maybe give Han a couple of reinforcements once he captures this command post. That'll give us just, what, another 3, so we'll be up to a full 10 out of 10 population.
Engines primed.
Grab our artillery, set it to number 2 on the number pad, and then, yeah, bring in some reinforcements. We'll bring in Han, a couple of units of infantry, and then some AACs is all we have, all we can afford, but that's okay, it's all we should need. We'll have Han fight off that group, and then we'll start moving these guys up, supported by Chewie, because he should have good anti-infantry capability. Also have these Antarian Rangers, which have a really cool stealth ability, actually. That's kind of neat. Shame they're not stealthy on the galactic level like units like Lando and Han and Chewie and Luke are. We will put that to use later as we get farther into the campaign and actually end up needing that capability. Right now we're good. I don't think we need to do any stealthy raids, but you guys can see that later in the campaign, like I say, as that need most likely emerges. Okay, we'll see if our artillery can range, and it actually cannot hit that Capitol building there, so we'll just queue up the attack move, and the artillery should automatically move closer. It looks like we're getting engaged down here. They are going the opposite direction of where I was expecting them to, and where I was hoping them to. This is why you can never rely on the enemy to accommodate your battle plans, because will have plans on their own, and they will do what's in their own best interest. But this tank and this heavy tracker are just shooting the side of the hillside, which is not tremendously useful. But we can get everybody up here, and honestly we can just control A and tell everybody to attack this capital planet. Heavy vehicles you're going to need to go around. I'll give them an order to swing wide, but we really should be good. If we're getting stuck. Pathfinding in Empire at War, always a struggle, right?
Ready.
For those of you who don't know, yes, it is absolutely always a struggle. Get Han and Chewie to take out these ground troops here, and have everybody assault the tax facility. And it looks like they actually still have some units running around. Oh, no, they're retreating. Okay, good. Yeah, they're not going to get anything out. They didn't have any real units on this planet anyway, and we will have secured ourselves a nice little Yag'Dhul. Which, if we take a look at the galactic map, let's return to the galactic map here.
Planetary control achieved.
So Thyfera, the planet, is locked currently. If I am understanding and anticipating this correctly, that should mean that the Empire is not going to be able to attack us through Thyfera. So Yag'Dhul, for now, until this planet unlocks, which I think happens as some sort of era turnover milestone in the campaign here, Thyfera should be in good shape for right now. Nobody should be attacking us through here, so that should give us some time to build up this planet Yag'Dhul a little more effectively. I am going to take, though, this second ground force that we have with 11 population. I guess I'll drop one Antarian Ranger, that's fine. But I'm going to take this army and I'm going to move it over to Endor because I'm a little bit concerned. Oh, hello, Sanrafsix. Oh my gosh, these freaking guys. We really need to solve this little Imperial fleet problem. I don't know why I began that battle. I was just needing to auto-resolve it. Ah, that's really unfortunate too. They're taking out all of our economic stations and our higher level defensive stations here. Which, as a matter of fact, let's see. This is a Golan 1 primary starbase. It has 4,600. If we had a shipyard here, we might actually be able to win this fight. As it is, I don't think we'll be able to. 4,600 hull and shields. That's probably not too different than what... Oh yeah, that's less than the precursor itself has. So, okay, not much point sticking around and trying to fight this. We could try to pick off a unit, like see if we could get a corvette or the carrier down before anything bad happens, because we do have a whole squadron of Z-95s and a Corellian cruiser or Corellian corvette rather, and this cloak-shaped squadron. But yeah, I don't think it's worth it. We'll just auto-resolve that and lose about 2,000 credits worth of investment, which really sucks. Maybe I should have prioritized chasing that feat down a little sooner. Probably should have done that. Yeah, and we lose the trade port too, which is what really sucks. That's going to kill our income. But we'll take Sov's fleet. We are building up this next little station here, so that'll be good. That'll help our infrastructure score a little bit. We'll take Sov's fleet, and we will jump him straight to Sanrafsix and hopefully catch this little fleet that's causing us such a headache. Need to rebuild those stations over Survivrin. But as I was saying, with this ground army over here at Yag'Dhul, I'm actually going to move these guys to Endor. And I'll tell you why. It's because we have this hyperspace connection. I started to say this before the Yag'Dhul battle commenced, but I got distracted by the actual battle. I got a notification in between episodes that the Empire of the Hand, these blue guys here, have taken Oreen, which is a problem because Oreen has a direct hyperspace connection to Endor. So that kind of sucks. That means that Endor itself is going to be vulnerable. I have queued up here some base defenses, and then we were lacking anti-air in our other army. I might go ahead and cancel this actually to get a little bit of the money back. I'll let it build for now. But the base defenses, we're just going to defend Endor on ground. It doesn't have enough of a defensive station capability to justify defending it in space, so I'm just going to leave that there. But otherwise, going to have to wait for the month to roll over. Ooh, another thing we have here is the boarding shuttle in Akbar's fleet now, and I don't recall if I mentioned this or brought this up at all last episode, but this boarding shuttle, when employed correctly, will allow us to capture enemy fleets that we encounter in battles. So that's going to be really cool. If we can nail a Star Destroyer, like Snag One, or even Victory Star Destroyer or something like that in that size range. For one, Rebellion, owning Imperial ships, super cool, super lower accurate, as we can see here with our modified ISD-1 Farlander here. But that can help us grow our own capabilities and weaken the empires by quite a bit. I had also built that Quasar carrier. I think I'm going to move that into Nance's fleet, and then we'll find a good place for Nance's fleet. Honestly, I'm thinking of sending Nance's fleet either to Glomtho or Rintone, and then to hit this raid and take out these two freighters over Druckenwell, because I would really love the couple of assault frigate Mark IIs that we would get from completing that mission. Or yeah, I think it's Mark IIs. I think we would get 3 of them. So with that in mind, let's grab this Bothan Spy that I just built, and let's go. Oh, there's Sanrafsix. Great. I won't auto-resolve. Almost clicked auto-resolve, but again, this Sov task force is not the strongest either.
There they are.
So don't want to auto-resolve when there's any risk that we could lose a unit, because we can't really afford to lose any. We got to rebuild our space stations that the stupid fleet has taken out. Really, mad props. Shout out here to the Empire for pretty effectively employing their small force to really inconvenience me, tie down this fleet, and soak up a lot of time. But in the end, it doesn't even matter. They've tried so hard, they've come so far, but in the end we're just gonna nuke all their ships and not lose anything of our own. not lose anything of our own, I say as I nervously watch the health on this Marauder drop. Yeah, we'll be okay, we'll be okay. I will grab these couple of guys and have them work on this Lancer frigate. Our fighters are going to take out their few fighters. Not a ton of fighters that they had in this fleet. You get this Dauntless working on the Vindicator, and then this other one working on the Precursor. Precursors, pretty solid ships, like I say. They've got these heavy triple turbo laser batteries. They've got a few ion cannons, I believe, so really quite well-rounded, solid ships. A bunch of Precursors can mess up a fleet pretty easy. Really, a bunch of any ship can mess up a fleet pretty easy. But we should be good soon. There we go. So that is that for this task force. Honestly, that might have been a nice one to assault and try to take that Precursor with the boarding shuttle, but yeah, it is what it is. I will move Sov's fleet over to Naboo now. And we have... Yeah, I didn't actually move this Bothan Spy, so let's move you to Glomtho. Glomtho, I think, is going to be the easiest to attack. Pentastar alignment has taken Vagr Praxit, which I believe is up here somewhere. Oh, and they're getting into... So the Pentastar are getting into Valk. I think that starts as an Empire of the Hand planet. Maybe I'm incorrect. Maybe I am wrong on that one. Oh, Vagr Praxit cleared on here. Okay, so they are kind of cutting into this unknown regions territory. That's very interesting. Okay, but with that, we've got Nance's fleet waiting for that Quasar. Yeah, like I say, I think I'm going to send them to probably Glomtho. But first, we have this Battle of Naboo. Drop in a squad of infantry. This is a fully built up planet, and I'm not actually entirely sure what is on this planet. I forgot to check and didn't go back and check the footage, so it looks like as far as built units go, they only have some ATPTs, but I don't know what their garrison is. I feel like I might remember seeing some advanced factories, advanced vehicle factories, which means they might have at least one AT-AT, possibly more if we're not able to destroy the factory before it spawns another one. Those advanced vehicle factories from the Empire, they spawn one AT-AT at a time, which can be, you know, pretty powerful on defense. Okay, so we've got our dudes in here. I'm feeling, let's bring in, I mean, do we really have any choice but to bring in Luke and send him sprinting for a command post? Also, what is that green dot? That is strange, confusing to me. Send this unit, these couple of infantry guys over to take that command post, and then we'll send these two guys up here to take this, what looks like a sensor node here on the map. And Luke's in the battle. He says yes, he's ready to go, he's ready to fight. Bring in a couple of units of our speedier tanks in the back here, and then once Luke gets up front, looks like we're going to take this command post without too many problems, so that's great. Once Luke gets up here, we'll probably send him in towards this one, actually. Okay, and we control some command posts, multiple probably now. Let's get the AACs up here. Ooh, yeah, especially to help out with this. Luke, hang in there. Okay, yeah, now we're going to be fine. We're going to bring in 2 units of heavy tanks, I think. We're going to let those spawn in, and then I'll bring in the turbo blimp, and I'll bring in the artillery. We're going heavy vehicles here. Luke, you can get away a little bit. In fact, come over here and see if you can capture this infantry spawn point for the capturable infantry. So they are sending, it looks like, more ATPTs down right into these armored free runners, which is not going to be a winning strategy for them. Hate to break it to you, Empire. That is not going to work out too well for you. Free runners trump ATPTs. ATPTs are basically only good for anti-infantry. They do have some point defense capability though, which is kind of cool for a ground unit in this mod, in this game. Okay, and we're getting the heavy forces spawned in just fine. We'll go ahead and send them up a little farther. Send these guys up a little farther. And then Luke, are you not? Oh yeah, we did capture. Okay, so we've got these extra, what are these guys? Police Enforcer heavy squads. So that's cool. Nice to see that. And it looks like they've got a medium tank moving in, so let's actually move these 2 heavy tanks that I saw that green dot moving across the mini-map, and we'll bring in some air support as well, because these drop ships actually have a little bit of laser cannons on them where they can do some work. Oh, and let's not send our infantry into ATSTs. That's a great way to lose some infantry as well. Artillery, you can deploy and start artillerizing, please. And then we'll send this main group up to try to take this intersection. Meanwhile, these free runners, I think we'll send them up to meet them there. And then this couple of infantry here, same thing, I guess, meet us in that big, main, important intersection. And it looks like they've built a turbo laser tower here, so that's a little bit less than optimal. I'll hold off and probably just artillerize it, maybe? I don't know I keep using artillerize like it's an actual word. I know it's not an actual word. Oh, and we found an AT-AT. awesome. And by awesome, I mean not awesome. I wonder what died to the AT-AT. This is potentially something we can make work to our advantage, though. If we send our speedy tanks down here, we might be able to wrap around and attack this AT-AT from the back. That would be pretty cool. AT-AT will have you directly target that turbo blimp. Tanks come at the AT-AT from the back. Luke, get up here and work on this infantry here. You can be supportive there. And then, oh, that's interesting. Oh, that was an AT-AT that I didn't even see, and it killed one of our heavy tanks. Okay, that's interesting. So if the fact that they have 2 AT-ATs on the map right now means to me that they obviously have 2 advanced factories, which is not great. I mean, we can defeat it, but it means we'll just have to kill a lot more AT-ATs, which is always kind of a slog, something that has to be done deliberately. Oh, and especially as we're running our tanks into this turbo laser tower, it's going to suck. Looks like we didn't need to have worried quite so much, though, because our vehicles and our infantry combined here were able to take down the AT-AT without too much fuss, so maybe I was freaking out just a little bit about it. Then we have the bombing run available, so we're going to come to the sensor node and ping just here in the corner of the base, see if there's anything good. Ooh, I might be able to hit, I'm going to see if I can hit both structures with that bombing run. That would be really cool if I can. And let's get our heavy tanks to move up even farther. Luke and our infantry move up. And I think we're just going to bypass this turbo laser tower, frankly. I am going to build here a repair pad just to get this tank up to snuff, just in case they send another AT-AT at us. Oh, never mind. I'm not. I'm going to do no such thing because I don't have the money to do it. And it looks like, ah, dang, didn't quite take out both structures, and they spawned an AT-AT out of this one. So, as expected, not my favorite thing to see happen. But we still have a pretty powerful ground force here, conventional ground force. Conventionally powerful, rather. So let's get our light tanks up around this side if we can, our lighter units. We get them up on the west side of the map. Yeah, no problem just taking down this medium tank. And then there's no reason to target this factory. We can just go straight for the AT-AT because this factory should just be spawning. Yeah, one AT-AT spawns initially and then another one in reserve. So no reason to deliberately target that. In fact, I'm going to tell one of these heavy tanks to target the AT-SD. And you guys can move up here just in case they try to. At this point, we're just trying to keep them from sneaking any units up. In fact, I'm going to get this infantry up here to block because this artillery is kind of in a dangerous space with their command post and turbo laser right there. We can send these speedy guys. Okay, and what was that? That just died. Probably an AAC, perhaps? Let's move them back down. I don't know what, or maybe it was one of the little spotter droids. Good thing I'm glad I've left this defensive force here to maintain this command post, though. In fact, I'm going to grab Luke and I'm going to send him in behind because it looks like they have quite a bit of infantry. So I'm going to send him up, see if he can take them out. Meanwhile, our tanks and our turbo blimp are just going to run crazy here up in the enemy base. I'm not scared of them anymore. It's all you guys can just do work, take out their structures. Luke, go ahead, and I'll actually get you to sprint and catch up with this force that is, again, coming in on this rather weak little task force that we have here on the ground. And it looks like we've destroyed all of their structures. They have a bunker with nobody in it. They have this turbo laser tower, which we do not need to destroy to score a victory. Let's get our vehicles up there. And Luke, you can come in and start ripping through this infantry. And, hey, look, turbo laser. Ka-chow. Bam, got him. And then, yep, they're retreating, so that's great. No need even to finish all of the enemies on the map. Okay, that's fantastic. So we've got Naboo. That has been liberated. Really should belong to the New Republic, right? Naboo's kind of good guys, it feels like. Galactic good guys. We are going to be super low on infrastructure, though. Just getting farther and farther, especially as that little fleet destroyed all of our space stations. We are going to be even lower on our infrastructure score. It is 44 now. Let's see what that takes down to when the month rolls over. We have updated our mission log. Let's see what that says. Maybe. Oh, Mon Mothma has won the New Republic elections. Okay. We might be looking to change that sometime soon. But for now, I guess we can leave it. Let's take a look at what we need to build. So first things first, Yag'Dhul, let's get you beginning to get built up with Han and Chewie's 10% discount. Same thing with Naboo, we can get our basic structures here.
Building under
Bajik, we already
construction.
have our basic space station. Svibrant we need so that we can get a trade port, because that's going to get us a good amount of money there. And then same thing with San Rap 6, we need that trade port back because our income is going to drop, or at least not be as powerful and as high as it should be and would otherwise be. Need to unpause there and see if we can get this button to be clickable. There we go. If we just so over Centauri's, if we destroy an Altor transport ship, we will get 5 Mandalorian soldier platoons. Again, not the most exciting mission reward. Oh, interesting. Okay, so remember how the Greater Maldrude owned Emberline and Kashyyyk. Looks like the Hapes cluster and the Hapes consortium has pushed out and now owns Emberline. So that's a little bit concerning because Hape and ships are scary to fight. I just feel like they're scary to fight. They're very well shielded. They do a lot of damage. Yeah. Don't like to go up against them in an honest fight. Our Andor ground army is here, so let's go ahead and drop them, and then we'll have our ground defenses very soon for them. Let's see, is there anything else I can do? Oh yeah, the forces over Glomtho, they have 130 in that fleet. We have 158 in Nance's fleet, so not an easy or an automatic win. Looking at this Altor, this is where most of their population is actually, is in this Altor replenishment ship. Massive logistical vessel, has a bunch of medium dual turbo lasers, and looks like it's a huge fleet tender, so it's going to be giving health and bonuses to their ships in the region. They do have a Victory 2 Star Destroyer, they have a couple of dreadnoughts. I'm wondering, they only have a level 1 shipyard, I'm wondering if this might not be a good target to see if we can snag like that Victory or something. So I'm probably going to send, let's grab Akbar's fleet. Put the Marauder in charge there in the Pathfinder position. On Chardon, I am not taxing Chardon. I would like to be taxing Chardon. So let's go ahead and build a tax facility there. And then I think I will queue up. No, I have better places probably I can spend that money just to get our infrastructure score up even higher. Sky is fully built out. We have an economic structure and a construction structure, so I should be able to double tax Sky and get that up to 600 income, so that'll be worth it. Okay, yeah, we're building income right now. Let's come over here to Sullust and get another spy, because I would kind of like to see what Hapes is doing on Emberline. Kind of makes me nervous that they're building up there in quite that way. But okay, let's see if I set the Pathfinder correctly. I did. Grab Akbar and send him down to Glomtho, and then from Glomtho to Druckenwell. And then we'll have this nice connection. We'll be able to connect Bothawai with our core territory. Honestly, maybe I want to go through Rintone. That's why I'm getting the spy on Celis, so I can go through Rintone as well. Might want to leave Druckenwell, because they're probably not going to be launching too many assaults out of it. I just want to take out the space over it. Anyway, we'll see. We'll grab Nance and send him over to Chardon as well. Greater Maldrude conquered Obro Sky. That's up. I think the Hapes Consortium did own that planet. And the Galactic Empire has conquered the Relfon Moons. Interesting. So Hapes is kind of moving around. Yes, this is fine though. That's nice to see my enemies fighting each other, doing my work for me. That is very gratifying to see.
The enemy has been spotted.
Okay, bring this Marauder in, and then take a look at how their fleet is dispositioned, however you might say that word. I think I'm going to play this pretty simple. I'm not super concerned. This Altor is not going to do a ton of damage. It is going to be my first target. So I'm going to bring in Akbar really close, and we'll just have the two big ships just wail on each other, right? Akbar, though, should be fine to just go for it. And then let's get this ISD Farlander in. We'll bring in a couple of Moncal ships, and yeah, like I say, I think everybody's priority is just going to be taking down that Altor. It's not the hugest threat to us in and of itself, but it is going to be providing some health and buffs to all of the ships. As a tender, it's going to be providing some buffs to all of the ships in its range. So let's get all of our ships here. Looks like they have a fair amount of fighters too, so let's bring in some point defense and some tending for that point defense. And then I'll get probably Farlander to join these other smaller ships in working on their Golan space station. And yeah, Akbar, go for it. Dauntless, target the Altor. Their fighters are coming in, they're dropping some bombs on our point defense, but that's exactly what you want. bombs to be dropped on is your point defense. We'll trigger this MC-30's. Yeah, there we go, jamming. Look at those proton torpedoes not find their mark. That is excellent to see. In fact, assault frigate, you can move around, and we'll move this guy around behind here.
Assault frigate here.
And Farlander, start working on those proton torpedoes because those are the biggest threat to us right now. I'll turn on the power to shields on this MC-80 because it looks like that's taking the most heat from this victory here. And yeah, that victory, I'm not attacking it very deliberately because I'm kind of thinking I want to capture it if I can. I think that would be really neat. With our brand new boarding shuttle, we can put that to practice, put that to work. And watch us just wreck this big Altor, this big enemy ship. Yeah, way too big, frankly, to even fit in the camera view. There we go. Okay, so with that though, that victory looks like is in danger of losing health. Capturing the ships is always kind of a delicate thing. I'm going to tell everybody here within firing range to start working on this dreadnought here, and then I'm going to bring in. Ooh, I can't actually technically drop in our boarding shuttle right on top of the victory. That's a little unfortunate. Let's see if we can get the boarding shuttle brought in from hyperspace and get it over to capture the victory before it's too late. They do move decently quickly. And once I'm pretty close, it does have to be pretty close, I'll click this button here. That'll start the capture process, hopefully. And in a few seconds, we will either get it or... Yes, we got it! Okay, awesome. Fantastic. Now, I'll turn the invincibility feature on the boarding shuttle because it is very squishy, very sensitive, very, very delicate little ship. And we'll get him pulled back to the back lines. Okay, yeah, he's moving decently fast. That's good to see. Okay, and with that, we're pretty much set. That's really nice. So not only did we destroy this fleet that's blocking us from our objective, we captured a ship from it, and that is just going to be a ship that we can use to strengthen one of our other fleets. Or this one, frankly. I could throw it in this one and have it be a nice little VSD escort for Farlander.
Reporting in. Affirmative.
Akbar can go ahead and go on up there towards that Golan. I'll select all of my fighters. Whose engine is down? Probably just this frigate? Yeah. That's okay, we're gonna take these guys down before, this Golan down before it's able to destroy this frigate. And there we go, we are victorious. Let's see where that victory retreats to and spawns at. Units have retreated to Svivren, which is somewhere down here. Okay, cool, yeah, that's awesome. And that, I think I am going to send up to Nance's fleet. So yeah, now we have a New Republic Victory Star Destroyer. Fantastic. That's cool. I don't always go for boarding shuttle captures, and it's especially tricky. Like, these boarding shuttles are pricey. If we come here to where we can construct them, 7,500 credits, and it's normally 10,000. It's only 7,500 because Mon Mothma is giving us her epic discount. That is really expensive. And so to get you need to get several ships per boarding shuttle to really make it worth it, and it takes a while. You're not guaranteed to succeed. It's like a chance to succeed every time you click that capture ship button. But with that, we now are one jump away from Druckenwell, and I think this is a good time, or at least as good a time as any, to head in and destroy those two freighters. So let's do that with Akbar's fleet again, because he's right here, and because, again, now this is a level 2 shipyard, they're going to have more forces in the area. Also, they don't have anything super huge. They do have another Victory 2, so we could attempt to capture this Victory 2. We'll have to see how what their disposition is when we jump in, and see if that is something plausible, if we want to risk a boarding shuttle to get that victory. If we can lure the victory out by itself or something, that's often a good tactic. Definitely getting it out of range where we can just jump in right on top of it so the boarding shuttle spends less time exposed to enemy fire, I feel like is something that's worth doing. But we'll take a look here. Okay. With that, actually, I'm going to try to do something maybe a little cheeky.
Advancing.
Bring in a small Corvette. And they're just going to charge right at us. Okay, Corvette, run away, please. Bravely run away. Let's get... Is this boardable? Ooh, the Acclimator's boardable. I could get an Acclimator. I don't think that juice is worth the squeeze, though. I think the Acclimators are a little too small to make it worth it. Let's bring in... Yeah, those forces there. And then I'm thinking I might send a secondary, smaller force in to try to take out their shipyard so they're not spawning continual reinforcements. Get a couple of quasars in, get our assault frigates in, and then yeah, once that victory gets out close enough, we'll jump in on top of it and see what we can do to capture it. I'm not hung up on capturing it like that. Our primary objective here is to secure free ships in an entirely different way, an entirely different set of free ships, those assault frigates. So if it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. But it would sure be nice. Okay, let's see. Oh yeah, they're keeping that victory pretty close in. I'm wondering, so it is going to be doing quite a bit of damage to our units. Maybe this is a mistake. They do have 2 large stations here as well, so maybe it's a mistake to be splitting our forces in quite this way. Yeah, I kind of think it is. I'm going to send these guys up here. They're going to catch probably a little bit of fire from this Golan's long-range weapons, but they should be okay. Yeah, trying to be cute. When you try to be cute, you get hurt. It's a bad idea much of the time. Boost this guy's shield power. And move back far on. If this, yeah, this victory is already taking heat, and I'm not going to send my boarding shuttle charging straight into this wall of anti-fighter. And there's really no way for us to avoid destroying the victory at this time, because this is the ship's weapons that we're working with. These ships will auto-target, and apparently they've decided they needed to auto-target. They needed to auto-target that victory, which makes a degree of sense. Like, that's a smart tactical thing to do if you're not trying to capture the ship. So it wasn't meant to be. I will use this smaller formation of ships to take out some of their small ships, because they are going to be doing a number on us. Also, I don't think I've even brought in 100% of my own ships, so kind of a weird choice. Turns out, your ships and your fleet, I know this is a pro tip, this is like an Empire at War series where I'm trying to give some pro tips and be a little bit of a tutorial series. Here's a bit of tutorial for everyone who might not know this. Your ships will be most effective on the battlefield when you bring them in onto the battlefield. Shocking, I know, right? Like, follow me for more Empire at War advice, and I promise I will not lead you astray. This MC-30 might be led astray. Let's get in all of our X-Wings, frankly, to help take out some of those TIE fighters, and use E-95s down here as well. TIE bombers are giving us trouble. In fact, let's see if we can get you out of here a little bit. There's a tender right there. Run, 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 run. And we'll just keep you guys together, like, here on the back line. Good, okay, we pulled that MC-30 out. Okay, again, you try to be cute, sometimes people get hurt. You try to do tricky things with multiple formations. This is a good time to talk about the principle of warfare of simplicity. Because that's one of the 9, right, that we talked about in our intro video. Keep your plans simple unless you have to, unless you have a compelling reason not to. So the simple thing to do at the beginning of this battle would just be jump everybody in and destroy the much inferior fleet and then work their way through the stations, right? That would have been the simplest thing to do. That wouldn't have quite worked for me because I was hoping that we could lure out that Victory Star Destroyer. There was a chance, right? They might have sent it far forward and then we could have gotten it before we got the other ships, or they could have kept it in reserve and we could have destroyed all the other ships on the map and saved that one for last and captured it last. It was a reasonable thing to do at the time, but it was not the simplest plan to achieve the overall objective, which is win the battle, defeat the enemies on there, destroy those 2 freighters. So I tried to get a little cute, almost paid a price, losing at least that MC-30, which was, again, a loss that didn't need to happen, which I am trying to avoid. So keep your plans simple when you can. Simplicity is the best. And there we go. We have 3 Assault Frigate 2s over Tiburon, which is definitely a planet whose location I'm familiar with. There it is, Tiburon right there. So that's 3 of these guys. I'm thinking we already have 2 in Sav's fleet, but you know what? What's another 2, am I right? So I'm going to split them up, and I'm going to send 2 to Sav, and I'm going to send 1 up here to Shuttle. Okay. We've defeated those. I'm not necessarily looking to take at least Druckenwell right now. I'm kind of inclined to just leave Druckenwell be and see what happens, see if Hapes pushes down to it or something like that. Rintone, again, not really super tempted to take it. Glomtho, maybe. Glomtho's got... Well, how much money is Glomtho worth? Yeah, I would love to clean up the Border Gore and clean up some of these planets on our back lines, but for Glomtho itself, I'm not really seeing a good reason to. I'll get another spy queued up, and I want this one up on Emberline just to be on the lookout for any potential incoming Hapes attacks. We got a new week of money, which is awesome. That is a new week of economic structures. You guessed it, right? Got one over Bond Arc already. Survivrin, we need this trade port back. And we're down to 35 infrastructure score, so we really need to start working on our infrastructure, see if we can improve that. But Yag'Dhul, not an awesome location for a trade port, so I mean, it's fine. It's got the 4 connections. Trade ports, by the way, increase in value with the more connections they have to other planets that you own. You have to own the planet for the connection to be effective, but they do increase in value when that is the case. I'm going to build probably the shipyard on Yag'Dhul first, and then I'm going to come around and build up just the Golans on some of these other planets that we've taken control of. Not necessarily because I want to use them defensively. I'm hoping, for instance, never to have to defend on Survivrin. That hope was slightly dashed when the Empire raided through it, but realistically we should never have to defend on Survivrin. But getting it a little bit more built up with, for instance, Golan stations or whatever, will help in the long run with our infrastructure score, because the higher infrastructure score we have, the better off economically we'll be. And if we can get our infrastructure score high enough, we'll actually get a discount on certain things. On our production and construction, I should say. Not just certain things. It can be a little less cryptic than that. I can't quite afford... This really is what I'm thinking for Akbar's fleet. I'd like an MC-80 Bravo cruiser, which is a good chunky ship. And I might actually sacrifice the Golan over Bajik so that I can start queuing this up. Because that really is what we're missing to be nice and big and strong. With this too, I'm thinking, looking at how things lie, how we don't really need a defensive fleet posted at Yag'Dhul, right now anyway. We have Endor covered over here on ground defense. I'm thinking, let's just send Sov's fleet over to Bothawai, and we'll put Sov in charge of the defense of that planet. Okay, we failed to get up to 58 infrastructure. That's okay, we'll deal with it. And that will give Sov a fleet of about 200. Which will be nice. That'll be stronger than Nance's fleet then. And oh yeah, I was sending these 2 assault frigates over there. So Sov's fleet will lack tankiness. The biggest thing he has in there is a couple of Dauntless cruisers, but he does have multiple. So really what I would need to top that off is, let's spy on Rinto and see what's there. That would be a little more lucrative planet to take. It gives credit income of 300. That might be a little more worth it. Oh, and look, the Hutts have gotten Emberline now. Crazy. What is going on in the House of Commons? By the House of Commons, I mean this corner of the galaxy.
Ready for battle, sir.
Okay, so our spy is moving in. Emberline is there. The Hutts have now moved off of Emberline completely, and they just have a very weak ground force there. Do I want to push up in this direction? Maybe. I could maybe afford to. Yes, I could, because... So if we take Druckenwell, and then move up to Emberline, that'll give us a defensive fleet over our capital, Bothawai, which, you know, important, right? Seems like an important thing to have. Emberline is a very central, very important planet, and that is one that we're going to want to build up probably on ground to defend against Hutt space here. And then that'll protect Tyna from attack. And then we'll just have to focus on defending Chardon. Yeah, I think that's the thing to do. I think that's the smart thing to do. So we'll grab Luke and Lando off of Naboo.
I understand.
Send them to Druckenwell, and we'll conquer that planet right off the bat.
Construction complete.
Okay, yes. I know I'm thinking a lot. I'm trying to be very strategic, trying to be very deliberate. This is going to be a little bit of a harder fight, so I'm going to go ahead and cut the episode here. Tune in next time for our Conquest of Druckenwell, the continuation of our consolidation of this corner of space here in the Outer Rim, mid to Outer Rim, and we will see what else the enemies throw at us. So thanks a ton for watching. Hope everyone has a great day.